We are aware of the pain that has been caused by the character letters that we wrote on behalf of Danny Masterson.
I've been on FBI raids where I've seen things that no person should ever see. I've seen video content of a child that's the same age as mine being raped by an American man that was a sex tourist in Cambodia.
Combs insists he's innocent, but a judge rejected his lawyer's bail proposal because he had concerns that Combs might try to tamper with witnesses.
Diddy and Ashton Kutcher have been friends since the 1990s, often seen together at events and parties. However, recent controversies surrounding Diddy have led Ashton to seemingly distance himself from the music mogul. Diddy is reportedly under investigation for serious allegations, causing speculation about the nature of their friendship. Questions have arisen about whether Ashton was aware of the circumstances or if he may have unknowingly been associated with questionable activities. Adding to the speculation, footage has emerged showing Ashton at Diddy's parties, raising concerns about the company he kept during that time. While the extent of Ashton's involvement remains unclear, the situation has certainly cast a shadow over their long-standing friendship.
FBI raids where I've seen things that no person should ever see. I've seen video content of a child that's the same age as mine being raped by an American man that was a sex tourist in Cambodia. And this child was so conditioned by her environment that she thought she was engaging in play. But the right to pursue happiness for so many is stripped away. It's ripped. It's abused. It's taken by force, fraud, or coercion. It is sold for the momentary happiness.
For years, Ashton Kutcher has worked to present himself as a strong advocate for children, even collaborating with the FBI as the chairman of Thorn, an organization dedicated to combating exploitation. However, a closer examination of his past reveals a more complicated and concerning narrative. From his association with convicted felon Danny Masterson to controversial remarks about Mila Kunis during her teenage years, Ashton's carefully curated public image begins to falter. These revelations cast doubt on the persona he has built, exposing unsettling aspects of his history that challenge the perception of him as a champion for justice. In an interview, Ashton Kutcher recounted a story with his co-star where Danny Masterson challenged him to a daring bet. Ashton explained that Danny bet him $20 to take part in a questionable prank, to which Ashton eagerly agreed. Reflecting on the incident, Ashton mentioned that the situation escalated when the police became involved, leading to his arrest. He admitted to participating but clarified certain details, making light of the events in the conversation. The exchange, though shared humorously, highlighted a carefree attitude during that period of his life, shedding light on some of the missteps of his younger years.
Funny is when she was 14 when we started the show. I was like 19, right?
Right.
And they're like, okay, you guys are gonna be making out in this scene. And I'm like thinking like, wait, this is like slightly illegal,
that's
right?
probably your first kiss ever, right?
It was my first kiss. Where's someone bet you made with Danny about our first kiss?
No, it wasn't the first kiss. It was like a second or third kiss.
It was the first. It was like the first week.
No, it was not the first week.
Whatever. Let me tell you what happened.
No, let me tell you what happened.
No. Okay, so I've never kissed a guy. So I was so. I mean, you know, Ashton's attractive, and I was a 14-year-old little girl, and I was extremely scared for my life.
Sure.
And he was very nice about it. He was like, "Oh, don't worry." So I was like, "Okay." Then Danny goes and goes, "Dude, I'll give you $10 if you French kiss her." What would you stick your tongue in my mouth or some?
What? No.
For $10.
You're making it sound like it was like really. Okay, Dan, we had a little side bet going.
Yeah.
Like,
Which was?
It wasn't very
as to whether or not, you're kissing on the show or boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah.
You would use tongue, right, Rosie? I mean, you would.
It depends what kind of an actor you are, I guess.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
So Danny bets me like $20 that I wouldn't do it, and of course I'm like, yeah, sure. What's the deal? You know?
And then the cops showed up and you got arrested, pretty much.
They should have,
He
but they
never
didn't.
did it. And
I so did.
He claims to this day he did that. I swear.
Mila,
never.
I so did it.
He never did it?
I didn't let him. I think he tried, but I think I kept my mouth so
Yeah. You did the old teeth block?
Yes.
Yeah.
You never got his
You were
tongue
good.
in
Oh,
there.
You didn't, Ashton. Just admit it.
Dad, I
She's
swear.
14. She didn't. You stop it.
She would know that was not the first. You had turned 15 by then.
No, she was 12, but I know it.
There's a big difference. That 1 year makes the whole world change.
All right, then. We're coming up with the guy who has a name that should have been chased for show business. Wilmer Vanderama. I don't even know how to say it. What's the point? Yeah, Danny will be here as well. Don't go away.
Recent reports suggest that Ashton Kutcher is planning to move to Europe, allegedly to avoid a subpoena that could require him to testify in ongoing investigations involving Diddy. This move comes amid growing scrutiny over Ashton and his wife Mila Kunis, who previously faced backlash for their public support of Danny Masterson during his legal troubles. The timing of these developments coinciding with the raid on Diddy's residence has raised eyebrows, with many questioning whether these events are purely coincidental or part of a larger narrative involving the couple.
We are aware of the pain that has been caused by the character letters that we wrote on behalf of Danny Masterson.
We support victims. We have done this historically through our work and will continue to do so in the future.
A couple months ago, Danny's family reached out to us and they asked us to write character letters to represent the person that we knew for 25 years so that the judge could take that into full consideration relative to the sentencing.
The letters were not written to question the legitimacy of the judicial system or the validity of the jury's ruling.
They were intended for the judge to read and not to undermine the testimony of the victims or re-traumatize them in any way. We would never want to do that. And we're sorry if that has taken place.
Our heart goes out to every single person who's ever been a victim of sexual abuse or rape.
Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them. There was one moment, so it's not really a party story, but our relationship was really bizarre. So it started over punked, because he was like, yo,
don't punk
you
me.
can't punk me. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you, everybody's on the table. He's like, not me, I'm off the table. And so that started our conversation. We became fast friends, and we used to just hang out and watch football together.
As we delve deeper into the connection between Diddy and Ashton Kutcher, evidence continues to emerge that could implicate Kutcher in the alleged illegal activities at Diddy's parties. Leaked tapes have surfaced, purportedly showing celebrities, including Kevin Hart and Usher, attending these events. Rumors suggest that Ashton may be preparing to testify against Diddy in exchange for immunity. Allegations of disturbing content captured on these tapes, reportedly handed over to the FBI by Courtney Burgess and Harvey Levin from TMZ, add to the mounting tension. The question remains, is Ashton preparing to cooperate because he knows the FBI might have incriminating evidence against him?
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I just heard about that. But you heard about the reports that Ashton Kutcher, he's worried that Diddy might lie on his friends? You heard about that?
But that's what I've been saying. I said, if the federal government wanted somebody more than they want Diddy, if he has some information about some people that they would rather have other than him, he's able to get that information to them. But they gotta want it. They gotta want it. And Ashton Kutcher and him they were real tight. One time, me, him, Ashton Kutcher went to a Nets game and we met Jay-Z there. You know what I'm saying? So they were close, they was cool.
But you think Diddy would do something like that? Lie on other celebrities?
Well, why would it have to be a lie? Because if he get caught in, he gonna be as truthful as possible. You understand? He's gonna give them enough
Gene Deal, a former close associate of Diddy, has made intriguing statements suggesting that Diddy might possess sensitive information about influential individuals, information that could shift the focus away from him. According to Gene, Diddy has the capability to share such details if the authorities show interest. He specifically mentioned Ashton Kutcher as someone who shared a close relationship with Diddy at one point. Gene emphasized their connection, recalling instances when the three of them, Diddy, Ashton, and himself, spent time together, highlighting the once close bond between Diddy and Kutcher. This revelation adds yet another layer of complexity to the ongoing investigation.
information, whereas that it's gonna make him look like the choir boy. So Ashton Kutcher, he has a right to be kind of alarmed if he was doing things with Diddy. Remember they used to have that group called the what do they call it? The Brat Pack? With Diddy, him, and a couple other guys was hanging out. Leonardo, one other guy too. I forgot the other guy's name. So, they all might be worried.
For him to come out with that comment, I mean, that is suspect. It sounds like he's worried that Diddy might give up some information.
That's why. That's why he made that statement. To set it up. To set up the atmosphere that, yo, this guy's gonna lie on us. This guy ain't gonna tell the truth on us. But what we know is that wherever Diddy went, his tape recorders went. His camera equipment was working. He was videotaping everything. So they might have that videotape already.
Ashton Kutcher has reportedly been linked to an ongoing federal case where significant evidence and testimonies have already been brought before a grand jury. Due to the sensitive nature of the allegations against Diddy, the proceedings are being held in a closed courtroom. Among the evidence presented are alleged tapes implicating nearly a dozen A-list celebrities. Ashton Kutcher is said to be one of the individuals expected to be called to testify, further fueling speculation about his potential involvement and knowledge of the events under investigation.
They'd bring in these people. A lot of these people were also aspiring young artists in the music industry. And then these parties were sponsored by Motown Records CEO, Universal Records CEO. This goes all the way to the top. And so you get these people in compromising situations. The drinks were laced, the videotapes were hot, and then at the end of the day, you wake up the next morning, what did I do?
On the PBD podcast, it was discussed that the alleged activities at Diddy's gatherings extended beyond the music industry. Guests reportedly included athletes, celebrities, politicians, and even members of the royal family. Adding another layer of intrigue, a former bodyguard alleged that Diddy served as an FBI informant, suggesting he was providing information to federal authorities. While this claim remains unconfirmed, it raises questions about the extent of Diddy's connections and the potential implications of his cooperation with law enforcement.
Then they have compromising material on you. And then they can guide your career. They could kill your career, but they got you. And it wasn't just people in the music business. As you said, there were athletes, there were celebrities, there were politicians, people from the royal family. And we were also told by the former bodyguard that Diddy was an FBI informant. So he was a snitch and was feeding information to the feds. And we don't know what that means. We haven't been able to confirm it, but even Little Rod said it's not just like Epstein, it could be worse than Jeffrey Epstein.
Allegations have surfaced suggesting that Diddy, along with other celebrities, engaged in disturbing activities, which were reportedly filmed for later use as potential blackmail material. These claims imply that Diddy may have used the footage to exert control or influence over others in the industry. While these details remain unverified, they add to the growing controversy surrounding Diddy's alleged involvement in illegal activities.
Statements include descriptions of what the witness says he saw on those tapes. So I asked him about that, and he answered what he could, given the limitations imposed on him after testifying before the grand jury. Out of those 8 videos, 8 celebrities, 6 men and 2 women, how many of those 8 celebrities were close to being underage or potentially underage?
2 males.
2 males. And of those 8 celebrities, how many of them were intoxicated or under the influence of?
This is going to be all speculation. I just want to preface it by he wouldn't know if they were. Right.
Sure.
Appeared to
Let me
be,
rephrase it.
Based on, yes.
During a discussion on the news, questions were raised about the nature of the relationships and activities involving the 8 celebrities allegedly filmed at Diddy's gatherings. The conversation turned to the age of those involved, with it being suggested that 2 of the male celebrities might have been underage or close to it. Additionally, speculation arose about whether any of the celebrities involved appeared intoxicated or under the influence during the incidents. While the details remain unclear, the discussion emphasized that much of this information is based on speculation and cannot be definitively confirmed.
Out of the 8 celebrities who were recorded having intimate relations with Sean Combs, how many of them appear to be either inebriated or intoxicated or under the influence?
All of them. All of them.
Out of those 8, how many appear to be potentially victimized? How many might have been victimizing?
I think all, to be honest, all.
Were victims
They
or
victims.
were perpetrating?
Victims.
They were, all 8 were victimized.
Yeah,
meaning
victim.
this was happening to them and they were inebriated.
Right. Not knowing, I guess, how much proof it was in it, what they was doing.
And of those 8, how many seemed to be potentially minors?
2 to 3, possibly 3.
As the federal case against Diddy continues to unfold behind closed doors, nearly 36 civil lawsuits are reportedly in the works. Even if Diddy's co-conspirators aren't directly named in the criminal proceedings, they may not escape the civil cases. The attorney handling many of these lawsuits has stated that they plan to name everyone involved in the alleged abuse, suggesting that those connected to the situation, including potentially high-profile figures, could soon face legal accountability.
We intend to name people in these lawsuits. We're not going to do it in interviews. We're not going to do it, without doing our due diligence, because obviously, these types of allegations are very hurtful to people if they're not true, and very hurtful, frankly, if they are true. But if they're true, you shouldn't have been in the room and you shouldn't have been participating. So I anticipate that we're going to start filing lawsuits, and it may not be big names at first, but we have a long list of names, and you might imagine in situations like this that when
In an interview with Piers Morgan Uncensored, Tony Busby discussed the potential legal actions stemming from the ongoing allegations. He expressed how painful and troubling the claims were, acknowledging that if they were true, individuals involved in the activities should not have been in those rooms or participating. Busby confirmed that lawsuits are in the works, although they might not initially target high-profile names. He emphasized the importance of conducting thorough due diligence before filing lawsuits, as public filings in the U.S. are accessible, and naming individuals in such cases often attracts media attention. Busby stressed the need for careful preparation to ensure accuracy before pursuing legal action.
When a victim tells us that this person was in the room or this person participated, we want to do as much due diligence as humanly possible before we file that case, because in the United States, in almost every state, public filings are in fact public, and when you name somebody in a lawsuit, the press is going to pick it up, and we're aware of that. So we're going to make sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's, and I expect that there will be some people named in these lawsuits that will raise.
According to Gene Deal, the civil lawsuits filed against Diddy played a significant role in prompting the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York to begin his investigation into the mogul. This development marks a crucial step in the legal proceedings, as the investigation is now gaining momentum, potentially linking the civil cases to broader criminal inquiries. Deal's comments suggest that the civil lawsuits are having a direct impact on the legal actions unfolding against Diddy.
World and is sparking vigorous debates online about who knew what, when, and for how long, and who else might have been involved. Combs insists he's innocent, but a judge rejected his lawyer's bail proposal because he had concerns that Combs might try to tamper with witnesses. Combs' downfall was years in the making and involved the Cassie Ventura, his former girlfriend, and others. According to friend of the show Teray, who has new reporting on what led to the downfall of Diddy, Combs' descent into darkness was due in part to, quote, it's central to why he's now facing a mountain of serious charges. When Diddy and Cassie were together, he dragged Cassie down into addiction. After she left him, someone said, she went to rehab to get control of her life, which led to a process of healing, not just from the drugs, but from the abuse. From there, she found the courage to speak up. Joining me now is Teray, who, as I mentioned, has been reporting about Diddy on his Substack, Culture Fries, and on his Teray Show podcast.
MSNBC News explained that the situation surrounding Diddy involves allegations of racketeering, with claims that he manipulated people, including Cassie, for his own benefit. He allegedly used her in both business and personal contexts, keeping her at his beck and call, which is described as deeply exploitative and damaging to her spirit. The report also delves into the impact on Cassie's potential career as an artist. Furthermore, it suggested that when Kim Porter passed away, Diddy was so emotionally distracted and devastated that Cassie was left to deal with the fallout from his actions, a subject that will be explored further in a story set to be released later in the week.
Podcast. Teray, my friend, talk about more that you learned about what led to Diddy's downfall.
Well, Cassie was recording an album for about 10 years. She made a ton of songs, she made collabs, she had producers. She thought she was actually working on an album. That was ultimately a giant pacifier to keep her happy while Diddy was actually using her for other things, right? For the freak-offs that we're talking about. The album never had a release date. It was never really going to come out. He was just using her for that purpose. So that's part of where you get into racketeering, that there's all these people that he's using in a business context to have her at his beck and call in this other nighttime context. And it's really disgusting, and he really robs her of her spirit and her time that she could have used to become a great artist.
As this complex and troubling case continues to unfold, it raises serious questions about power, manipulation, and the impact of celebrity culture on those involved. With investigations, civil lawsuits, and testimonies shedding light on these dark allegations, the road ahead will undoubtedly reveal more about the extent of Diddy's actions and the consequences for everyone involved. Stay tuned as more updates emerge and as justice seeks to hold accountable those who have exploited their positions of influence.